This is an IJDM retro piece of technology, one that you may have seen on this channel before, but maybe not. This is the IBM Thinkpad 755 CD with no CD. It actually has the floppy drive, which I prefer on my retro laptops like this. This computer came out in the mid to late 90s, and it's a gem, but it also was a pain in the ass to restore. I've done everything I can. First of all, this is one of those infamous IBM laptops that had the rubberized coating on it, which was god-awful, and then in some parts it's rubberized with metal underneath, which is good because it gives a little extra protection more than some of the other laptops of the era. But you got to be careful when you're conditioning these and doing different things. And how I got the stickiness off, well, that was a mix of scrubbing with denatured alcohol and lots of waxing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. And as you can see from my hands, no, there's nothing. It's got a little bit of grippiness, but it's not like it's sticky at all. It's actually relatively smooth. I did put a coat of some stuff on there, some protectorant, not WD-40, but the other stuff that Adrian over at Digital Basement recommends, and yeah, it's stayed pretty good. And just as I'm doing this, wind just comes up out of nowhere. And you can't really see it because I'm doing this later at night. This is the new retro tiki bar, which is actually just a new bar. It's not anything special. The old one went basically, what's the word they used to use? Kaput. So it basically fell apart. So we had to go ahead and change. So hence the black table and the black laptop, which makes it hard to see because there's absolutely no light reflection off of it, hardly at all. Anyways, you saw the floppy drive. Let's go around the side here, and there's one of the release clips for the lid, power button, headphones, and inputs there, along with, it looks like it does have the phone thing. I didn't even realize it had the phone modem jack in there. Okay, learn something every day. This one did come with a back lid, which is amazing on these old laptops. And then you have connectors. I forget what the heck this is for right now, but port replicator, or docking as it's referred to sometimes, VGA port, parallel port, and serial port, and your power in there, which uses kind of the it's like the trapezoid type connector. This I do not have the cover, and I think there was a cover. It's for your two PCM CIA cards. Got an input for a mouse. If you want to use the keyboard, you got to use a special IBM splitter, which I do have. One interesting little tidbit: this laptop with the proper software can actually output and input video, regular NTSC signals via RCA composite connectors. However, I have never been able to get that to work, whether using the Windows 3.1 software or using whatever. I've been told it needs a BIOS update, but I don't have the battery, which prevents the BIOS from updating on it. And then another release clip there. We turn it over on its back, and you might be able to see I've touched a few things up and whatever on the back, and it's just got these handy dandy little legs that you can move up and down. I don't really fool with those because I don't want them to break off. And I've had to touch this up a few times just because the metal casing and some stuff's worn. But as far as 755s go, this one is pristine. It is absolutely just amazing to look at. It's definitely a talk piece, but like any retro laptop or vintage laptop, it has its weird little nuances, and we'll see what happens, because every time I do one of these videos, something happens. So let's open this thing up. You got your nice, oh man, these keyboards, I can't say enough about them. I don't know why they didn't continue these. They are rubber dome, but they have this nice strike to them when they hit the back plate. That's a metal black back plate, and it's just amazing to type on. And it's just I don't know, makes it fun. It does have the stereo speakers, although I'm not really sure if it's true stereo or not. This is the 640 by 480 coveted screen for DOS gaming, with just a brightness control. It is a active matrix, so we won't worry about that. The reason I'm keeping the camera tilted down at this moment and you can't really see much of the screen is because I want you to see the inside. I'm carefully going to open this, and I don't like doing it a lot because as these get older and you keep opening and closing this little hatch, like you're opening the hood of your car, these wires can break. And I've actually had to replace this keyboard on this unit, and I luckily found some new old stock replacements. And these keyboards were actually made by Keytronic and a few other companies. Some come from Mexico, some come from all different areas all around the world. So it's got this interesting little thing here, which is weird because it's like a spacer to keep the keyboard supported, but it's like an interesting waste of space that feels like it was like equipped to be engineered, if you ask my opinion on it. But if you just want to flop out this and put in your CD-ROM, then you would take this little cover thing off on the bottom here, and you would pull this out and stick in your CD-ROM unit if you had one. Much easier than the 365 or some of the other series that came out during that time. Your battery goes here. I did have the battery, but I got rid of it because, number one, it was leaking. It was just one of those batteries. I tried to take it apart, but I just ended up giving up on it and just sent it to recycling. And it was an aftermarket battery, so it was even worse than you think it possibly did. And I had to clean this all up. I mean, I think I did it pretty good. I still see a little bit of something there I need to touch up, but just from whatever leakage may have happened. And then I have the hard drive here, which in another video I think I did, I replaced the actual, and it's in this stupid caddy, which is a pain in the ass, but it actually has a it's running off of a compact flash CFast card that plugs into a little adapter that plugs into the other adapter that plugs into the laptop. Isn't that fun? I don't want to talk too much about that, but if you want more information, I can send you more information how to adapt these. And taking those caddies apart is not fun because you do have to do some laser blading and some good fun on those. I didn't leave the original laptop because it was just clunky. It was making all kinds of weird noises, as you would know on, let's tilt this up, on old retro laptops. So now that we got all the funness out of the way and trying to get some of the glare off the screen, let's power this up and see what mood this thing is in tonight. And I think I thought I plugged it in. There we go. Just had to finagle the cord a little bit. It's kind of hanging off the wall. So I got an okay on the RAM. What usually happens is there's an error in the RAM, and I thought it was the card I put in there to expand it to the 40 it's got in there now, the 40 megabytes. But it's something else with the onboard RAM. I don't know if it just needs to be this or thatted, and I still have some weird issues, especially with, if you're familiar with these IBM laptops, a lot of your control comes off the PS2 function, and it always does that, but it always says internal memory error, follow instructions, but it still works fine. It's just sometimes it doesn't want to go. You just gotta let it relax for a while, especially if I've been running it for like a half hour or playing a retro game on it, and then I go and reset it, then it's totally just, it totally does not want to start. You just kind of wait for it to do its thing. Lately it's been okay though, and I'm using the yellow colored font up here on the C prompt. So I got, you know, plenty of programs in there. I got an older Apple II emulator, Atari emulator, a C64 emulator, Sega, NES. Some of those work okay, some don't. They're earlier emulators because they are running off of DOS, but I did put Windows 95 on here, and the reason I did that was because of compatibility with other computers that I do with some of the BBS gaming. I should have a swappable drive for Windows 3.1, which gives it a little more functionality. Because in the Windows side of this laptop, without the upgrade, Windows 95 just will not produce sound. You have to, if you have one of these 755 series and you're like, I upgraded to 95, why is the sound not working? It's because you need to update your BIOS. That's the answer right there. But you cannot update your BIOS on an IBM laptop unless you have the battery or know enough about circuits and electronics and stuff to wire something up or put in some kind of battery adapter or whatever and get it so that it thinks there's one in there. But I don't want to risk that at this point. I'd rather keep this thing in its vintage condition and just be able to play around with it when I can. So let's see. Well, let's go into Windows first and get that out of the way, and I just go in and I type Win. Most of my laptops have the same stuff on them. This one, I gotta say, the most disappointing part about it is that it uses, I believe, the IBM A-Wave or something Wave technology before they switched over to the newer one. And it works fine for certain things, but other things it does not. But there's your Windows environment, and there's where I use my to do with net games. If you saw one of my earlier videos, I did do something on that, and what I use Windows for, mainly for copying files over using the PCM CIA card with a SD card in it. I can put stuff on here and take it off fairly easy without using have to use like 2,000 floppies. Let's just get out of Windows, and that is it for this one. And all my different retro laptops, just as a kind of an accent point when I'm showing them side by side, they have different colors for what they are. So this one's primary color is yellow, as this guy just circles. What is it with us retro people on YouTube and planes just circling? I mean, this guy has circled like 5 times as I was getting started, and then here he goes again. We live in a major city with airplanes coming in and out all the time. Like, how can these little planes just, oh man. Okay, so let's get out of that. And I can hear the sound card going, and I shut it down. Here's where I'm going to get the weird error and have to cut this short, or maybe not. Yes, yeah, well, here we go. So we get the 4224 OK 201, and that's where I am going to have to probably end up stopping because it will not let me usually continue. But let's see if it does. Yeah, then it gives me the error, and then I got to fly my little dove over and hit restart, and if I'm lucky, sometimes it'll restart, sometimes it won't. Anyhow, I was going to bring you into like a little Duke Nukem and see how that sounds with these speakers and using the audio card that I have enabled in the DOS mode, but I don't know if this is actually going to happen because, as many people know with collecting these old IBM retro laptops, this is a continual problem with some of the models, and it's just annoying. And from what I understand, you take it all apart and redo basically the built-on 4 megs of RAM. And again, I don't think it's the card, because I have pulled the card out. I've tried everything, but I think it's something deeper down inside of it. And you never know when it's going to come back or what it's going to do. And sometimes if I just unplug for a minute, and we'll just try that. And if not, we'll cut this video short. And if it decides it wants to power back up while I have time tonight to do one of these videos, I do work, so I have to get ready for work tomorrow. And we still got the 2-in-1 air, unfortunately. And pounding it around or doing anything like that isn't gonna help it. It's not gonna make it just magically come back. It's gonna send you back to this again, and you can restart it multiple times, but it's just one of those things. If it gets in a mood, it doesn't want to do it. And I don't know why I just didn't restart it or switch it back to DOS mode. I don't know why I even went into Windows mode, because there wasn't really a point of it. But that's the way we roll on IJDM, as you know. We just kind of do stuff and see what happens. If I run the test on it, trust me, nothing gives you. It's just the 201, and I'm sure it's the base RAM that's got some kind of weird issue, that maybe a solder point is a little loose in there or something, and maybe when it heats up and cools down, it's losing contact, or maybe there's a little bit of corrosion. Who knows? But I really don't want to dismantle this thing and delve into it, because I'm not great with working with the actual circuit boards. I'm fine with replacing keyboards and doing certain things like that if it's easy enough to deal with, but as far as dismantling the whole thing, no thank you. If you watch any of my Amiga videos, you can see the results of some of that. And sometimes, and I don't like opening and closing these lids too much, sometimes I just do this weird thing. If not, I will cut some of this and come back with like, hey, it's working. Okay, a little flash forward here. Somehow I got it working despite the RAM issue. It decided, okay, I'm gonna go, but as you can see, my memory is minimal. But I am not going to mess with it at this point because reasons. So let's go into the games and see if we can at least do the setup thing and test the sound card out and see how it works and see if we're actually getting anything. So I got this set at standard Sound Blaster, which is supposed to be compatible, and same for the music is both coming out through the same thing. So let's just turn that up all the way. Yeah, okay, well, how about music? Okay, well, we got that working, and let's just see if we can launch the game and just kind of, Yeah, see, not enough memory. But we at least got to do that and follow up on that. I'll try one reset and see what happens here. If not, then we will just kind of shelf this one until I can figure out this 201 thing, or when it's happy again, I get it working and not shut it down. I'll go straight into a DOS game and show them maybe a little Duke Nukem 3D. If I can get... Oh, now we have a commercial airline going by. Yeah. I just kept hitting F1 and escape, and it somehow bypassed the memory error. I'm just wondering if I can maybe get the original Duke Nukem up just to show some type of game is what I'm thinking. Okay, well, somehow I was able to bypass it. I don't know how I'm doing that, but it's working. Escape and F1 seem to be my friend right now. Nope. Huh. I thought it was... Oh, yeah. Well, because there's 3 series in that game, so... is it? No. No. Ah. Okay, well, this game's starting. Are we gonna have audio? Let's start the game. I'm not gonna play too much of this because there's playthroughs all over the... Yeah, we got audio, and I don't think there was music in this, so yeah, we got a football, and you can watch how much I suck at these games and playing them. In my older age, I guess I don't have the reflexes I used to, so guess you can't fire at that, but... Oh, you can't fire up. That's just wrong. Guess that's a Coke. Are they sponsoring this game? It's not labeled, but, you know. Whoa! Yeah, I just affected my health. What does Duke do with those discs anyways? I mean, you collect them, but you don't actually do anything with them? Whoa! Oh, guys, this makes for a fun little thing. Whoa, far more. Radio. Yeah, and as you can see, the screen actually fits perfect. It's good. It's got that 640 by 40 screen, so it's perfect for a Duke Nukem type situation. You want to kind of indulge and do that kind of thing, then you're good. And there's a lot of games that actually work with minimal RAM, especially if you're using older laptops, going back to older 486s and 386s. This one, I wish I could go into more detail. Normally, it would have 40 megabytes on board RAM. Well, the 4 original, and then plus the 32 card I put in there. And somebody told me it could be a compatible issue with the card and the internal one, so I thought about ordering another card just to give it a try, because it is one of those cards that wasn't really recommended for this laptop. But yeah, this has been an interesting little thing that I actually was able to get back, you know, actually working again. But that'll be it for this IJDM. We don't really play through games. If you want to see more of that, yeah, I can play through a bunch of games and you can watch and go, oh yeah, I remember that game. And I mean, I got a ton of them on here, and it's just, you know, it just depends on what you're into. If you want to watch a Wheel of Fortune or me playing video poker, but you know, we're more looking at the retro tech than really, like, I mean, we mess with it, but I'm not going to do a whole game run through or walk through, whatever they call them. That'll be it for this IJDM. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. We need subscribers, lots of them. So tell your friends about the channel. We do retro tech. We do stuff that is just way off, and we do stuff that sometimes just reviews of old stuff, new stuff, keyboards, even pool patch stuff. We've done stuff on new video switchers using an iPad. So it's all kinds of technology sort of related stuff, and a little bit more. And we do have a Patreon account. We are offering a free with a generous donation for the first Patreon subscriber or Patreon person that we have that does that and makes a donation and sets that up. We do have a free Commodore 64 Mini included with some games on it, with the joystick and everything in box, ready to go. So be sure to check that out. We'll see you next time on IJDM. Thanks for watching.